Welcome to the Happinista Hookup with me, Jenny Garrett. The aim of these hookups is to connect Happinistas so you can understand what women doing things their own unique way looks like and get some inspiration. They'll also share what they do and what they'd like to have. Maybe you can help them, maybe you can use their services. So today I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Sonja Lewis. Hi, Sonja.
Hi, Jenny. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm the one who's absolutely delighted. Tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your journey. Tell us about what you do now. We want to know it all.
Okay, well, I'll try to sort of cram it all in a nice little blurb and everything because I do feel like it's been quite a journey and I hope it's going to continue for a time yet. But with background in communications, I think it used to be quite an easy question for me to answer about talking about myself and what I do because I started out as a journalist. I've worked in corporate communications and communications in the public sector. I have also written 2 novels and a collection of short stories. So it's quite different, and I do a blog as well. But now what I'm focusing on is this podcast that I'm doing for and with teenage girls, and I'm very excited about this because I'm beginning to see myself as someone who is a doer, someone who wants to get things done. I see something that I feel very passionate about, and whether the mechanism is through my fiction or through my journalism or through podcasting, I do tend to go back to this consistent theme of trying to make sense of the space, that whatever these issues fall into or the audience that I'm working with, and helping them to find happiness in that own space. So in their own space, I'm very excited about that.
Amazing. So many talents all around, as you said, communication, the writing, the blogging, the journalism, and your work with teens as well. It's all about communicating and doing that in a really effective way. So talented. And also I hear the passion about supporting teen girls, and I have a passion. I have a teenage daughter, but I also have a passion for supporting teenagers as well. But I'd love to know more about why teen girls? Where's this passion come from?
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. And I think that's one of the reasons why I, connect with many women and many young women, and girls as well. But certainly the connection is there between the two of us. I was very excited long before I actually started focusing on UIO, the podcast for teenage girls. I was very excited, when I saw what you were doing. Oh, that's really, really wonderful. But at that time I was, focusing on something else.
Yeah.
And it all started for me when my niece was about 11 years old. And I was really helping her out with body and nutrition issues. And that was fantastic. And it worked out really well. And it was just an opportunity to work with, a young girl in that way. But as she got older, particularly about 13 years old, I think the landscape, if you will, started to change a bit, I thought, in sort of a negative direction for teenage girls and also women. And I'm always going to do what I can. I think that it's important that if you have a gift, a resource, or whatever you have, that you ought to be able to use it. So I really got thinking, very concerned about some of the issues that she was facing now as a 13-year-old. And then we had a really sort of big change in the political landscape in the United States. And I thought, oh dear, there are a lot of things going on, and it's important to grow and it's important to sort of manage these issues. But what can I do to be able to continue to help teenage girls, my niece and her generation of girls, be able to certainly keep their voice heard and to sort of just, really, really be positive. And I thought about writing, and I sort of shopped around and I saw that there were some really good resources out there. And I came up with this idea of a podcast because it was modern, it was relevant, it was something that girls could listen to. As far as I knew, there wasn't a podcast specifically for teenage girls. And teenage girls seem to be particularly sort of marginalized disproportionately as well, in many areas. And the sexualization of teenage girls, of girls, is happening younger and younger. Research and everything supports this. And I thought I want to be able to be a part of this in a positive way, influence positive change. But, I want the girls to be able to also have a platform, and they do. They do have many. And I thought that having this mechanism through a podcast would perhaps provide something extra as well, and be able to work cooperatively and jointly with other organizations and other wonderful efforts like Rocking Your Teens.
Yeah. Our next conference on the 12th of March. We expect to see you there.
I'm so excited about it. I've already started thinking, okay, what are you going to say? You got to get this podcast together and so forth and so on. And just being there and interacting, with the teenage girls and connecting, because that's so important, to be able to relate.
It's exciting. It's so exciting. I love what you're doing. I can hear the passion, and I know it's going to make a difference. And sometimes we mourn the past. So sometimes I say things like, why aren't there any magazines left for teenage girls? But actually, podcasts are the new magazines. And I'm so pleased that you're not harping back to a medium that maybe teenage girls wouldn't engage with, but using a medium that they would love to have. So yeah, it's brilliant.
I thought with technology, and as the world turns and changes, there's no point in doing something that's already been done. It's nice to have new things and to move on. And it's a new thing. And I think that once they plug in, the girls who I know who've listened to the podcast, they seem to be really enjoying it. Yeah. But it's a process. It takes a bit of time for them to find the time to plug in, And once that time is, while I'm working out or running or on the way to school or whatever, then I think we'll be in there. It'll be a very positive thing, but I think I've got to learn patience.
Yes, yeah, we all have. Well, we'll have 150 teen girls there for you in March that you can hit in one go. So that would be really, really good.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me what you're really excited about at the moment. Yeah, what's that thing that sort of like?
I think the big thing that really excites me at the moment, and maybe this is interesting, that because I was really thinking about this. It's women power.
Yes.
It's girl power. I really love that. I know that there's this campaign that comes out of the States called Black Girl Magic, but I think that's fantastic and I love it. And for me, it's just sort of building upon that. It's just women magic, girl magic. I loved visiting the Happinista, retreat. I loved being there because I felt that there, and being involved with other females and their work, because I see people, standing up for what they believe in. And if something goes wrong, I see them in a very positive, creative way, standing up for what is right and advocating and not rolling over and being the victims. And I think that's wonderful. So I'm really excited about that. There are a lot of odds against, women and girls. There are a lot of challenges, but I don't see that rolling over and playing dead. I see excitement, people getting out there and making a difference. And I think I really saw it, when I was at the Happinista retreat.
That's lovely.
And I'm just... and I think, once you've got it, it's catchy.
Yeah.
So now, I'm having lunch yesterday with some writer friends who are women, and, you just feel it. You feel it all around. I do, and I'm very excited about it.
Lovely. I call it sisterhood. It's a real sisterhood.
That's it.
That's there, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm glad you feel it and you feel that energy. And I'm glad it's exciting. And I think the movements that have been going on, that Me Too recently, and those sorts of, women are being so courageous in the way that they're engaging. And I absolutely love it. So I agree. So I've got a question for you, because, and I love the fact that it took us a while to remember how we were initially connected. But it was through Sarah Troy, who's all the way from Canada,
Yes.
You from America with me in the who's always been in the UK, and I think that's amazing, that idea that people can connect you and people can be be part of your network and be part of your friendship circle who you never imagined, and who really have been miles away at certain times in their lives. So thinking about our Happinistas as a tribe of women, I'm really interested in who or what you'd add to your networks. It could be a person, remembering that it could be a person wherever they are in the world, because there are connections everywhere. Or it could be a skill or a quality. You might say, well, actually, I'm not so good at this. This is a gap in my knowledge or a gap in my experience or something I don't enjoy doing that I'd like to add into it. So what would you add to your network if you could?
I think what I would add is, I had so many wonderful thoughts about this, and I only get one.
Yeah, so I mean like that.
I'll have to, just focus on that.
Yeah.
I would become more influential, sort of more of a power broker.
Right.
I think that, and what I mean by that is that there's so many wonderful resources and so many wonderful connections and so forth and so on. I just think we need more positive role models, all of us.
Yes.
And I would put myself under the spotlight to try to influence positive change, but not necessarily in the spotlight. Yeah. But whatever I needed to do to be a little bit more influential, and I'm really reticent about sort of joining things like the Me Too campaign and that sort of thing. I have been in the past. I might have spoken at the Happinista retreat about being sometimes, even in my writing, sort of censoring myself a bit unknowingly and that kind of thing. I'd like to shed that and be a little bit more influential, sort of really sharing things that might influence change on a wider scale.
Yes. Okay. So if anyone's watching this, it's sort of how they could help you be more influential on a wider scale when it comes particularly to the teen girl agenda. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that if there are, women out there who are very connected in that arena,
yes,
in that area, doing work like, having the opportunity to meet you and work with you, I'm very open to come and speak. I'm very happy to share personal stories if it would, make a difference in the life of teenage girls, things that I might not have necessarily talked about in the past. But I think, with UIO, part of it is you inside out, but it has double meaning. I honestly feel that it's something that I personally, and I hope that many women feel this way, owe it to girls and women to do what we can to make a difference. And if that means talking openly and honestly and telling stories that we wouldn't otherwise tell, not to sort of sensationalize things or anything like that, but anybody who has a platform, who has, a resource, and they are willing to work collectively and share that would be very helpful. I am very happy to sort of try to speak, openly, do whatever it is that I can do.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think if there's an MP watching, I think that would be really good. So a member of Parliament who really wanted to bring you in to push that agenda as well.
Absolutely.
That's the sort of person I think we're looking for, alongside collaborators and people who want to help you move forward.
Yeah, and I think part of the I'll say to that, this thought leadership campaign that I've embarked on, with people who I've engaged, I think that will also help with it. And so yes, so you're spot on. It's MPs, it's journalists, it's anybody who is working with that specific audience of teenage girls, and I'm very happy to work collaboratively.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Thank you. So I've got kind of just a final question. If you could take a magic pill to that would give you infinite knowledge of any subject, what would it be?
I think this is interesting. I thought about this long and hard as well. And I'm going to say effective communications. One would think that you know, oh, well, she has knowledge. But I think as a professional communicator, I'd like nothing more than to know more about relating, you know, how to really connect, you know, which comes back to influencing positively, you know, just really being able to connect with people on a deeper level, you know, relating.
I actually really relate to that. It's like, you know, I've been coaching for 12 years now, and but I want to be, I want to be better. You know, I always want to be better. I always think, is there another way I could be doing this, better ways? And I think, you know, that idea of being hungry to be better, I think, is a really good thing. When you think you know it all, then what is left? And when you think you know it all, you don't. So,
and I mean, it's well said. There is so much more for me to know as I continue to go and work with different audiences. It tends to be, you know, women or girls, or now teenage girls and everything. It's just wonderful. And it's so important to listen, you know, to really understand what's going on. But I just want to be so much better at, you know, relating.
Lovely. Thank you so much. I think I've loved really speaking with you today. And I want, if people want to get in touch, if they want to, if they're an MP, if they want to collaborate, if they want to help you have more influence, if they want to, maybe they've got some young women who would love to hear your podcast, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
My email address directly is Sonja at sonjalewis.com. So it's quite easy.
Yes.
That's an easy way. I'm also on WhatsApp. I'm FaceTime. It's all sorts of connections that I've got. You know.
Tell us how we'd get the podcast. So where do we go to find the podcast?
Yeah, the podcast fantastically has a great distribution channel. It's distributed by Libsyn, a syndicator, and it's in iTunes. You can get it through RSS-B. You can get it on SoundCloud. There's something called Stitcher Radio. There's TuneIn.
Wow.
Also, we do publish it on all of our social media channels, which we now have 3.
Okay.
That is UIO at UIO Podcast, Twitter at UIO Podcast, Instagram, and at UIO Podcast, Facebook.
Lovely. At UIO Podcast. Fabulous. Well, everyone, recommend it to the young people in your lives, and also listen for yourself. To be honest, there's lots to learn for us women, even if you are a little bit older than a teenager. You know, there's always lots to learn. So thank you so much for your time, for your insights, and for your lovely, what's the word? Radiance. That is the word. Your lovely radiance today. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Jenny. I think it's catchy because you certainly have it. Thank you so much for having me.